what's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the other day, the Splitgate team came out over on Twitter and gave us a priority list, basically everything that they are hyper-focusing right now in this moment to pump out into Splitgate 2. And let me tell you guys something. It is actually a pretty juicy list. Now, I know there's probably going to be people with more concerns, and of course, that's why we make these videos. So hopefully, if you don't see anything on this list, just like me myself, I'm going to list out other problems that I have with the game that they can hopefully resolve. And I hope you guys go down in the comment section as well and list your problems for things that you want to see fixed, or even, things that you might want to see added into Splitgate 2 within the future. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, before we go and dive deep, if you guys are interested in more content just like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post daily here at 8 Eastern Time. Everything between Splitgate, Call of Duty, Battlefield, Arc Raiders even. By all means, if you want to hear about any of this content, subscribe and hit that bell. And last but not least, I do stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch, starting between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. If you guys are interested, you want to chat it up, or even hop into the open lobbies, you can find a link to that channel down in the description of this video. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and start off with the first post here by Splitgate 2 covering the priority list. They also went ahead and answered some questions down in the comment section as well, which we'll cover secondly. And all of my, personal gripes, things that I want to see fixed up in the future will be discussed more so near the middle towards the end of this video. Now to begin, Splitgate 2 saying, here's an update on the top priorities the 1047 team is currently working on. Number 1, fixing bugs preventing users from progressing weekly and daily challenges. 2, shortening battle royale load times. 3, ranked arena. 4, mastery challenges. And 5, performance improvements across the board. Honestly, this list is really solid. Again, I know there's some other, things people want to see get done. But for the time being, I'm very happy that pretty much all these things on the priority list are things that I desperately need to get done. First and foremost, again, the weeklies and the daily challenges not working properly. That is a huge one, especially since the battle pass is the main progression pass, right? So we need to get that out as soon as possible. The battle royale load times, nothing is more rough than having to wait a little while to get into a BR lobby, and then having to wait another minute 50 to get into the actual match itself. Let's be real here. That doesn't really need to be a thing, so I'm glad that they're going ahead and adjusting this. Again, a ranked arena. Couldn't ask for anything better than that. We need ranked so 4v4 can kind of get a bit more casual. Then the mastery challenges, for those who don't understand what that is for the camos and progression. So that's going to be absolutely huge. To add more progression features within the game besides just trying to push through the battle pass. And then performance improvements, thank the heavens. Because again, although the stutters and the hitches have gotten much better, they are definitely still present and they happen from time to time. I'm still thankful that I can play normally without wanting to rip my hair out. But again, I think other people are having it worse than me. And again, I'm still having the problem still as well. So hopefully, fingers crossed, after the next performance update, we'll see some major ones. And I think they're probably going to be hyper-prioritized towards the BR as well, which I feel like a lot of people aren't really giving them any slack with the performance on BR. You have to keep in mind, they tested out 4v4 and 8v8v8 within the alpha and the beta, ladies and gentlemen. They had plenty of feedback and plenty of stats to go off of to try to perfect it before the full launch. The BR was the, quote-unquote surprise mode. They never tested it publicly, so it is going to, take a little bit of time to polish it off, but hopefully they can get it done sooner than later. But let's go ahead and check out some of the questions down in the comment section. The first one by GZL saying, awesome, plans for BR ranked as well? And Splitgate does, a little eye emoji, which I think is absolutely awesome, because ranked Warzone and ranked, Apex and ranked any BR experience, to be honest with you, seems to be the new wave. We can hate it as much as we want. Me, myself, personally, I'm not too much of a BR guy. But it's what people really do enjoy. So to have that type of variety across the board, not just with 4v4, but also with the BR experience, is going to be huge. I'm assuming it's not going to be first, though, because 4v4 is prioritized because that's the core of the game. But at some point down the road, I'm assuming we will probably get to witness that. Next up here by L saying, would you guys add a barrack so we can view all of our career stats? And Splitgate responded saying, this is in the works. However, for the time being, we're also on Tracker Network. So for those who are curious about your stats, within Splitgate 2, if you go to Tracker Network, you can actually search up your name and find your specific stats on Splitgate 2, which is actually pretty dang cool. And there's one last post I did see as well that I wanted to showcase to you guys because I thought that the response by this individual was perfect. And to me personally, I hope that this calms down as the months go by. But Brogger said, what is with the abysmal store? Whatever happened to play to unlock / earn? And, Splitgate responds saying, mastery challenges is a play to unlock earn system. Obviously because you get to earn skins and so on and so forth. But Saul responded saying, Splitgate, CEO Ian, please stop caving to these morons criticizing you for microtransactions. Say it how it is. It's a free-to-play game, and you guys need funding to keep the game healthy and in good condition. Don't apologize to these deeply unserious people. And honestly, I completely agree with Saul. You guys don't have to apologize. You seriously don't, you know? You already cut the prices in half. And these are very reasonable prices compared to literally the rest of the free-to-play market. Like, are you kidding me? There's games that have been out for ages, like CSGO, for example, that you could purchase $1,000 knives. And I understand they have, a little bit of a gambling side, I guess, that you could trade, buy, sell, and all that stuff. But let's talk about Valorant then. There's knives that are probably worth $100, $200+ in that store. Free-to-play has always been like this. And the funny thing about it is that people, I think they're scarred by full paid products. But at the same time, people will always criticize others because they claim, oh, you're okay with free-to-play games charging for microtransactions, but you care so much about full paid products. No crap. I never said that having cosmetics in a game like COD, for example, is a bad thing. What's bad is that they have free to play, and I say this all the time too, that's the funniest part about it. Every time I criticize the store within COD, I say they use free to play practices in a full paid product. Notice how I say they use free to play practices, as in these things aren't free to play games, and that's fine, but guess what? In a game that's full priced, they shouldn't be copying and mimicking the practices of a game that literally has to thrive and live off of that microtransaction system. You get it? Games like COD, Battlefield, all these other paid products, they make their money up front, right off the sales. Games like Splitgate 2, on the other hand, what money are they getting, ladies and gentlemen? Everybody's going to keep crapping on the store, but I'm being very serious. If you really genuinely want them to take the store away, just strip it, or even reduce the cost of everything, what are they going to be making money off of to keep this game alive? You see what I'm saying? I don't know. I do understand that some people probably won't cough up the money, including myself. I've never been a person who really wants to ever spend more than like $50 on a microtransaction. You'll be lucky to get like 20 beans out of my pocket at a time. Unless, of course, if I really like the game and I might, cough up to 60 because I think it's worth it. But, doing that consistently, spending hundreds and hundreds and hundreds in a store, I'm the type of dude that says, I could take that money and take my girl out on a nice steak dinner. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would probably use the cash for. But I still understand that's how they thrive and that's how they stay alive. I can play the game for free. We can all play the game for free. But if they don't make cash, then the game goes away. It's just as simple as that. But ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, let me go over and, just cover some of my personal problems with Splitgate 2 right now. Because again, this is based off of their priority list. And for me personally, I guess you can kind of consider this the JB priority list. First and foremost, the way bullets go through portals. Now, I understand that in Splitgate 1, this was always a thing as well, how the bullets are amplified a bit when they go through an enemy portal to kind of make it fair. Because again, if you're an enemy, you can't see through the portal. You can't see both ways. So they kind of make the bullets a bit bigger. So while you're shooting through the portal, you have a little bit of a bigger hitbox that you can engage with compared to the enemy that has to be a little bit more, on point. But again, they can see you, you can't see them. But in Splitgate 2, those bullets are like nukes. It's literally nuclear bombs shooting through the portals at you. It's kind of wild. It's one of the main reasons why I don't really fight through portals that consistently. And when I start getting shot at, I've grown a tendency to just shut the portal. I don't back away and, try to come back to the portal. I just shut it down right away. Because you can literally walk completely away from that portal, cut to a 90-degree angle so they can't see you. And like I said, the bullets are so big that it will destroy you, even if you're completely out of the, the view of the enemy shooting at the portal there. It's way too massive. I'm hoping at some point in time, they'll shrink down those bullets. Not too much, because again, got to make it fair for the person who's shooting through an enemy portal so they still have a chance. But again, the way that it is now, if the bullet can literally leave the portal, take a 90-degree turn, and then shoot me from that angle, at the side of the head, then we have a little bit of an issue, I think. And like I said, it kind of takes away from some really fun portal plays and discourages people from making those portal plays in the first place. Secondly, I noticed that the friends list is still a tad bit bugged. I can't really see many of my friends online, and same thing for my friends, they can't see me online. So it kind of makes it a bit rough to get people in others' lobbies, and we have to kind of join off of one another at different locations, so on and so forth. I don't know if this is like a widespread issue. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to check it out maybe the day after and the day after that just to see if it's still consistent. But I just started frequently noticing this. And lastly, this one is a pretty big one to me personally, and a lot of people who pop up into my stream. I hope at some point in time, it doesn't have to be rushed, and I might actually make a completely separate video about this, but I hope at some point in time they actually introduce, kind of like a, how can I put it, getting more XP for actually capturing the objective. It kind of sucks when you sit on, like, a hot zone point or a domination flag, and you cap the absolute whole thing, and then you die, like, with a second left until it's fully captured. You get nothing for it. A teammate hops on, they cap it up, and they get the rewards for it. It's like you went through all of that work, all of that grinding, trying to survive on the hottest point in the game, keep in mind, right? And you're not really getting anything for it, especially if you get killed off of it. I think it's kind of encouraging people just to rotate around the zones instead of actually trying to hop on and contribute, because why contribute when you could just plop enemies off and then the very last second you could just teleport in, get your points, and then go on with your day. So hopefully sometime down the road, if they might consider doing this, add in some type of, XP rate for actually going ahead and capturing some of these objectives. I think that would go a long way and will encourage more OBJ gameplay across the board. But ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much all I have, and I would love to see what you guys have down in the comment section. List out all of your problems, anything that you might want to see resolved, and, maybe some point down the road, we might put together some more videos on, problems that a lot of the community are spotting, and we can bring a little bit more awareness to a lot of these issues. And who knows, maybe some of the developers will see some of these issues and potentially fix them in the upcoming future. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hated it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post here daily at 8 in the morning Eastern Time. Again, Splitgate, Call of Duty, Battlefield, Arc Raiders, all of the above are going to be posted on this channel, of course, as they start to trickle out and release. And last but not least, we do stream daily over on Twitch, starting between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So, of course, if you guys want to hop into any of the open lobbies, chat up with me, so on and so forth, you can find a link to that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.